Good afternoon. First, on the injury front, we had a couple of guys that missed today's work, new guys with minor ailments that could be described as day-to-day. That's Diontae Johnson and T. Edmunds. Hopefully those guys will get back to us really soon. Again, it could be described as day-to-day. On a positive note, a couple of guys are continuing to work their way back to full participation. Chris Wormley was very active today from a participation standpoint, as was James Washington. Good to have those guys back out there. Another good spirited day. I like the energy coming off an off day. It's one of the points that we made this morning. They're going to be prescribed off days or rest days. We can't waste time transitioning. We got to get back on the ride and continue to push forward. I thought they did that in spirit. We're still growing in terms of detail assignments and techniques, but you know, where we are in the process. I like the general trajectory of the group and the competitive spirit. We continue to put them in competitive situations. We did a variety of things today, 2-minute and some open grass backs on linebacker tackling was kind of a featured competition drill of the day. Just really working on good fundamental things, battles that need to be fought and won on both sides, and the best way to do it is to practice Steelers versus Steelers in that way. Questions?
Hey, Mike, a couple guys that we haven't asked you about yet, veterans that you signed right at the start of camp, Wendell Smallwood and Curtis Riley. What made you guys want to bring in players with a significant amount of experience at those spots, and what have you seen from those two so far as they get acclimated?
We more than anything, we were interested in increasing the level of competition in this environment. And the way that you do that is you bring as many capable men in as you can. Both of the guys that you mentioned have credible NFL resumes, and they've proven that thus far. They got a veteran-like look to them, and both are being positive contributors to the days that we're having. So we look forward to continuing to get to know them and looking at ways that they can maybe carve out a niche for themselves within what we're doing here.
Next one, Dale Lawley. Dale, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, the competition committee put forth a presentation that perhaps the league will do the playoffs in a bubble this year. Just wanted to get your feelings about that, and do you think that will be something that the league seriously considers?
I'm definitely not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to anything that's going to aid us through this process. It's just we got so many battles to fight between now and then. I think it's kind of fruitless to engage in that type of discussion from an opinion standpoint. We got more pressing challenges that lie ahead, like traveling in week 1, that probably need our attention.
Next one, Chris Adamski from the Trib. Chris, go ahead.
2 things real quick. You got them on. First off, your new receiver, Ray-Ray, what did you see in him to bring him in? And secondly, your shirts has cleaning ambassador. Is there anything to that, or is that just a shirt?
First things first regarding Ray, like we mentioned about the other 2 guys, Ray-Ray is a guy with credible NFL playing experience, and our desire is to have the most competitive environment that we can have here. And so infusing a guy like that with a legitimate resume into the mix, I think aids us in that. We'll get to know him and see what he brings to the table in terms of his skills relative to his position. In regards to the shirt, you know, we just have some really quality service people around here that are working their tails off to keep us safe. And I just wanted to show my appreciation for the work that they do by wearing their uniform and encouraging guys to pause and to be thankful for the services provided and hopefully brighten their day if given an opportunity. So, you know, we just need to be conscious of the contributions of everyone. It takes everyone within our organization to put together a successful day and thus a successful season. And so we just wanted that on the front of our consciousness today, and wearing the shirt is a means of doing that.
Next up, Mike Pursuta from WDVE. Mike, go ahead.
Mike, you mentioned the open grass period. You had Connor going against Bush a couple times. Is there something you can do practice etiquette-wise to minimize the risk, or is some of that just going to be the cost of doing business?
You know, there's risk in playing tackle football, and we play tackle football. So you have to practice like you play to a degree. Now, we're thoughtful about the amount of it. We're thoughtful about how we construct the scenarios. But the bottom line is we will tackle in some form or fashion every day that we have full equipment on, and we will not apologize for that. That is the nature of our game.
Will Graves, Associated Press. Will, go ahead.
Mike, you talk a lot about guys making the jump between year one and year two. We had Devin on earlier today. He talked about how the game has slowed down for him. Do you see that manifesting itself in the early portions, early days of practice? Does he appear in some ways to have taken that step forward that you guys look for?
You know, I'm looking for that step to be revealed in the quality and the amount of his communication. And he still has room for improvement in that regard. He's better than he was. But as a defensive quarterback, if you will, I'm really looking for significant maturation in that area. He's checking all the other boxes. You know, he came in great shape that indicates he has an understanding of the challenges that lies ahead. The experience that he gained last year is going to be an asset to him moving forward. But I'm particularly looking for dramatic improvements from a communication standpoint because it comes with the nature of his position.
Chris Adamski with a follow-up. Chris, go ahead.
Mike Surratt said that the competition for right tackle could all the way down to week one, that practice, if it comes down to it. Considering there's no preseason games, is that more likely now? Or how do you evaluate in each day's tape and practice? How do you kind of evaluate guys when there's no games to go off of?
You know, we'll go until we get definitive clarity. And we got two really good, capable men there, guys that are not new to us and new to the challenge. So we're excited about watching those guys sort themselves out, and we're looking for as many ways as we can to create an atmosphere where they can definitively separate themselves. And when we get to that spot, we'll know it. But until then, we'll continue to work to create opportunities for them to distinguish themselves.